Episode 4, International Women's Day Special. Real queens fix each other's crowns. Hi, I'm Jade.
And I'm Ellie,
And this is Really Fucking Trying.
a podcast where we talk about the ins and outs and ups and downs of running a small business and being creative.
So usually our episodes are every 2 weeks, but we wanted to do a little bonus episode to celebrate International Women's Day. So after today, we'll be back to fortnightly.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of our favourite and most inspirational women.
We've also asked our lovely Instagram followers to tell us their fave female-run small businesses and why they empower them. So we'll be reading out a few of our favourites today as well.
Jade, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so should we do our own first and then we'll finish off by reading from Instagram?
Well, I think that is the plan.
Okay, so there was absolutely loads that I wanted to talk about, but I landed on 3.
Okay.
Is that too many?
You go ahead. Quickly. No.
I'll keep them as brief as possible, but if you like what you hear, then please go and Google them.
Yeah.
Because they're very inspirational and I think that you and our listeners would enjoy them. So first off, I'm going to talk about the absolute powerhouse that is Jameela Jamil. I feel like you're not going to know who any of them are because 2 of them are from well known for TV
Oh,
and you're not a big TV person.
no.
So Jameela Jamil was in The Good Place.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just haven't got the attention
So, I
span
know.
for telly.
So she played Tahani in The Good Place, but like she does loads more than that. She's like really constantly calling out like body shaming online. So she's very against like toxic diet culture and she speaks up about that a lot. So she started out as a TV presenter in the UK before she jumped into acting, but it was her activism that has really like made waves. So in 2018, she launched something called iWay.
Okay.
Which started off as an Instagram account and then it's also like a podcast. But it like challenges the way people think about self-worth. So instead of like measuring ourselves on our weight or appearance, she pushes people to celebrate their achievements and strengths and like all the things that make us human instead of just the way that we look. She's also like a fierce advocate for mental health and she's really supportive of like LGBTQ plus rights and like disability inclusivity, and she shares her own struggles with eating disorders and body dysmorphia and depression. But she's just very like open about things. Like there's nothing that she's afraid to talk about, do you know what I mean? Which I think is just really refreshing from like a celebrity.
Yeah.
So like sharing her own struggles and stuff has made people think like, oh, even people in the spotlight have these issues, like it's not just perfect for them. She calls herself out on stuff as well, like if she makes a mistake, she holds herself accountable and she's like, oh yeah, sorry, I did fuck up that, like that was wrong.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
know
good.
what I mean? Which I think is really nice. Yeah, she's just like really open and honest and supportive of things that kind of go under the radar sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's my first one. The next one you're definitely not going to know, I think, as well.
Oh, okay.
Mindy Kaling.
Heard of them?
Okay, so she was in the US Office.
Yeah, I've seen a few. Yeah.
Okay, so she is most well known for The Office, I think, but she's made massive contributions to feminism. So she uses her platform to challenge traditional norms and like she tries to create a space for diverse voices, particularly women of colour. So she is a woman of colour.
Okay.
So she's kind of like redefined beauty standards in Hollywood. She's been very open about her struggles with body image, especially in an industry that pressures women to look a certain way. So like being on TV and in the public eye, obviously I imagine there's a lot of pressure to, you know, be pretty and like on all the time.
But I'm more so than men.
Yeah, no, definitely. But she openly speaks about how she rejects those narrow beauty ideals and she shows that women don't have to fit a specific mold to be successful. Like she's really successful, but she doesn't bend to that,
Yeah.
to fit in that box, if you know what I mean. So she works really hard to change how women are portrayed in the media. And she not only plays characters, she also writes for characters. And the characters that she writes and plays they try and break away from those normal stereotypes as well. So it's not just her, like Mindy Kaling, it's also the characters that she plays.
Okay.
Which I think is really nice. Because you don't often get to know, if you watch the US Office, say, you don't necessarily know much about her as a person.
Yeah, you don't with
So
an
I
actor,
think
do you,
so I
really?
think the character is also really important. But yeah, she tries to like show their flaws and imperfections, which I think is really nice.
Yeah.
It's not just this polished version. She's also a major advocate for representation. So she's an Indian American woman in a predominantly white industry.
Yeah.
And she's worked really hard to ensure that more diverse voices are heard and seen. She's openly talked about how difficult it was for her to find roles, especially early in her career. And that's why she tries to create opportunities for those type of people through her work. So she hires a lot of women, writers and things like that, and women of colour as well. So by doing this, she increases visibility for underrepresented groups, basically.
Yeah.
And she doesn't just just like talk the talk, she walks the walk. Like she hires these people and makes sure that she's not just shouting about it, she's actually doing it. Do you know what I mean? So she's like supported and mentored loads of other women in the industry. She hires women writers, directors, producers for her shows, and she believes in lifting other women up, which I love that.
Yeah.
And as well, like she uses humor a lot in her feminism, which I think is really, it makes it more accessible. Do you know what I mean? It makes you listen more, I think.
Yeah, it does as well, because feminism can sometimes have quite negative
Yeah.
connotations, but I feel like by having that humour.
Yeah, I think like often if you're not a feminist, you might think like, oh, it's just them banging on again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's another way to get it across.
Yeah.
Which I think is really refreshing. So yeah, she normalizes conversations about like women's struggles and desires and ambitions whilst making people laugh.
Yeah.
Which I love that. She uses her voice to make feminism more inclusive, relatable, inspiring. She continues to push boundaries, and I think she's helping make the world more equal, and I love that. I just think she's amazing. Like she's dead funny. She's got such good ideas, and she's worked really hard to like carve a place out for herself. And now she's using that to help other women that are in the same position she was in, and that's lovely. And lastly, this is another one that you probably won't have heard.
Oh.
So this is like a collective of women
Okay.
called the Guerrilla Girls.
No.
Okay, so if you don't know them, which you don't,
They sound fun.
they're really fun. So they're like masked avengers of the art world.
Oh.
So they've been fighting sexism and racism in the art industry since the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, and they do it with style and comedy, and I think they're fucking amazing. So picture this. It's 1985.
Okay.
Close your eyes, take yourself back there.
What do you mean back there? I wasn't there the first time. Never were you?
Neither was I. Imagine you were.
Okay.
Okay. This group of feminist artists in New York are just fucking done with sexism in the art world.
Okay.
So museums, galleries, collectors, basically everyone in power are ignoring women artists and artists of colour. And these women put on gorilla masks and start plastering the city with posters which expose gender and racial bias of the art world. And they're not just throwing around opinions, like they're hitting with cold, hard facts and stats. So one of the most famous posters is from 1989, and it said, "Do women have to be naked to get into the Met Museum?" And it pointed out that less than 5% of the artists in the modern art section were women, and 85% of the nude art was of women.
Yeah.
So the poster, like, Google it, but it's really cool. So it's like a naked woman with like a gorilla mask on, and it's got those stats on. But they went after museums, galleries, collectors, auction houses, Hollywood, basically any institution that was like gatekeeping and reinforcing the same old white male dominance.
Yeah.
And the way they did it was just like pure feminist rage mixed with comedy, and they're still going today.
Oh.
Yeah. So they've evolved from late night poster bandits, and now they're like internationally recognised activists. They're still keeping their identities a secret, and they're still rocking the gorilla masks.
Oh.
Yeah. But now they create campaigns and they write books, and you can hire them to do talks and stuff. Yeah, it's really fucking cool. And they turn up to do the talk like with a gorilla mask on. It's fucking sick. It's
Are
dead
they
cute.
artists themselves?
I think they originally, yeah. I don't know if so obviously I imagine they've like gained more Gorilla Girls as they've gone on. I don't know if they all
I
are
suppose
artists.
you can work in the art industry
Yeah.
without actually being
Yeah.
an artist
Yeah.
as well.
But I
can't you?
imagine it started off as they were
Yeah.
artists and they were fucking sick of it. But yeah, the best part is like they seem to have actually made a difference. Like more women artists are being exhibited in museums and galleries, and people are being held accountable. And I think people know about the inequalities because of the Gorilla Girls work. Like there's still a long way to go, but the moral of the story is like keep it loud, say it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Keep shouting out the bullshit, make some noise. Yeah, I just think they're fucking great. Like we don't even know who they are, and they don't want recognition for what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? And they're funny and they're fierce and they're feminist, and that's my fave combo. Yeah, so yeah, I love them. So yeah, please Google all of them when you get home. Thanks.
I'm going to Google Gorilla Girls.
Yeah, so that's my 3.
So I think it's funny that you've talked about obviously women not getting the representation in the art world, because that's sort of the area that I went down as
Okay.
well. So I really want to highlight the parts where the art industry and women have been overlooked there, and they are to this day, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of like, I think anybody, even if you're not arty in the slightest, if you ask them to think of an artist off the top of their head, I'd say it's 99%
Yeah.
are going to say a man.
Picasso or Van Gogh.
A
innit?
white man,
Yeah.
yeah. It is, yeah, no, it literally is. But another thing, and again, this is going on from what you just said, you go to an art gallery,
Yeah.
how many of the paintings are women?
Yeah.
And I think it's because they've been used as the muse as
Yeah.
part of a patriarchal order. The artist is male and the woman is there to assist and
Yeah.
model
Yeah.
and almost sort of serve them, really.
Yeah.
They're serving a purpose, they're not actually doing it. And that is what, I think that is the sort of narrative that's been pushed for
Yeah.
centuries.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, you know, look, if you go to any art gallery, it's the same thing year upon year. It doesn't matter what era, what movement
Yeah.
that's from. And I do do think that this has resulted in an underrepresentation as well of women artists, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's that little bit harder to be taken seriously, and that's obviously, there's a big difference to say what you and me do
Yeah.
to the people that are exhibiting in galleries, but what you and me do, for example, we meet other artists, the likelihood is they're women.
Yeah.
And yet if we were exhibiting in a gallery somewhere, the
Yeah.
likelihood is that we would be the
Amongst-
minority.
Yeah, we'd be amongst men.
So I think it's interesting how, do you know what I'm saying though? The
Yeah.
modern, what our experiences are day to day are
Yeah.
very different to what is represented in the art world,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah. Like, I always think, isn't it weird that there's hardly any men at, like, a market, say?
Yeah, it's definitely, I'd say 90%, 10%.
Yeah. But is that because all the male artists are in the galleries?
Well, it's a good point though, isn't it? I mean, you know, I know it's unlikely that you'd see anything in an art gallery that's from the last 50 years,
No.
depending on the type of gallery that you go to. I know that places like
Yeah.
Castle Galleries still do live in artists,
Yeah.
but you know, you go to the Tate, you go to the Walker,
Yeah.
you know, its likelihood is it's going to be white male
Yeah.
artist from years and years gone by, and that's not to say there's no women.
Yeah.
There is women.
Yeah. And I think it is changing. It's
Yeah.
just changing slowly.
Yeah, but I think it is still stuck in that narrative that women are the
Yeah.
muse rather than the artist, and that's what led Frida Kahlo to say that she is her own muse.
Yeah.
Because she's claiming her image for herself, and she takes inspiration from her own life
Yeah.
as well. There's no muse about it.
Yeah.
That is her brand,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah.
And I really want to highlight a particular artist that is not only underappreciated as a woman, but actually had the credit for her artwork stolen by her own husband.
Okay.
And that lady's called Margaret Keane, and she's known for a painting of children, women and animals with very large sad eyes.
Okay.
And she was born in 1927 in Nashville, Tennessee. And I believe she started her first art class when she was about 10 years old. So she's been doing it for a long time.
Wow.
And her work in the 50s and 60s, which was when it sort of took off, art critics rejected it basically, but she was very popular amongst celebrities.
Oh, okay.
So I believe the Kennedys had
Oh, wow.
had her paintings in their house.
That's
so she was
cool.
just sort of popular amongst that scene. Andy Warhol loved her. But she divorced her first husband in 1955, and then after that she and her daughter left for San Francisco. And then shortly after arriving there, she met Walter Keane, who was a
Okay.
former salesman, and it was agreed that she would sort of stay home, create the artwork, look after the children as well, and that him, using his salesman skills, would go out and sell her artwork.
Okay.
And that seemed like the perfect combination for them at the time. And she was encouraged to sign all her paintings as Keane as well, so not using her first name.
Right.
And Walter took advantage of that, and little did she know he was taking all the credit for her paintings.
What a snake.
And he used to claim that he was inspired by the starving orphan children that he saw on his travels during World War II.
Oh my God.
And obviously sales of the paintings went up because he was selling them. He
Yeah.
became very famous. He was appearing on talk shows and all sorts.
Oh my God.
But he was a con artist, basically. He wasn't an artist at
Yeah.
all. He was a con artist. And Margaret, found herself at home pretty much trapped, confined to painting the artwork. And the marriage became very bitter,
Yeah.
abusive
Yeah.
even.
Oh God.
And she, it said, was working in virtual slavery in order to
Yeah.
maintain his success.
Wow.
And again, the marriage started to revolve around that as well.
Yeah.
But he basically going out there, going, these are my paintings, making a brilliant success, completely ripping her off, his own wife.
I'm fuming. Oh my God.
And they did divorce in 1965.
Good.
And she moved to Hawaii. She married again. And then eventually she built up the courage to talk about her ex-husband and her artwork.
Oh wow. Love that.
And long story short, in 1986, she actually sued Walter for defamation.
Yes.
This is so good though. A judge couldn't decide basically who was right and who was
Oh my
wrong.
God.
So he asked them to prove who was the real artist in
Oh my
court.
God.
She painted and obviously won.
Yeah.
He made up an excuse about his arm hurting. That's the way he couldn't paint.
Uh-huh.
She walked away with $4 million.
Yes. Oh my God. Love that for her.
And she always said that in the end, she only cared about gaining ownership and credibility
Yeah.
for her own artwork. And apparently there is a film about this as well. Tim
Really?
Burton. Now, you know me, I don't watch films at all. But yeah, it's out there if people want to
Oh
see
wow.
it.
Okay.
But she painted until her death in
Aw.
2022.
Oh my God.
Should Google a picture of her as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm.
Just, you know what I mean? Like proper looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
glamorous.
Oh.
Like Golden Girls, like Tyler
Yeah.
style of glam.
Oh my God. I made up for it.
I know.
Fuck
It
him.
just sounds like after all that, she had such a happy life
Yeah.
as well in the end.
She deserves that.
Yeah.
Aw.
And just to briefly highlight as well another example of a woman who I don't think gets not ripped off, I don't think in any way, but certainly not given the credit she deserves. And that's Jane Morris. Now, she was born in 1839 in Oxford. She had a very poor upbringing, but in 1857, she was spotted by artist Dante Gabriel Rossetti and Edward Burne-Jones. Now, they founded the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood.
Okay.
So very famous artists, and she sat for them as a model, and that is mainly what she's known for as well. She was their muse. But Jane Morris is best known for being the wife of William Morris.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now everybody's
Yeah.
heard of him, haven't
Yeah.
they? He's become so commercialised
Yeah.
as well. You know, you see his artwork all over their artwork all over. See, I'm doing it myself. The two married in 1859, and it was after that, because like I say, she had a very poor upbringing, but she was privately educated, and she became an accomplished embroiderer. She worked with her husband. She was doing the embroidery for William Morris. That was very much a shared thing. It's her artwork.
That's crazy.
As much she was doing just as much as him. It was very much a shared thing, but it's
Yeah.
always William Morris, isn't
Yeah.
it? And there's all this business as well about a bit of a love triangle between her, William Morris, and Rossetti as well. But we won't go into that.
Drama.
But I just found it interesting that everybody's heard of William Morris.
Yeah.
But she was it's almost like a
Yeah.
partnership, really,
Yeah.
when you look into it. She was doing that work.
Oh, that's
Naughty, isn't it?
Sneaky sneaks.
And she's known as a muse. But I do find it really interesting, this whole thing, again, going back to the lack of women in the fine art community,
Yeah.
rather than, as I say, what you and me experience. The studio, Hazelhurst, where I work, there is, there's, including studio holders and associates and things like that. I want to say there's like 25 of us now, 24, 25. 3 men.
Oh, really?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, that's good. See, we're making a difference.
Yeah. It's interesting though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
That
is. I always have thought there's not many men here. Every time we do anything, like market wise, it always has really interested me.
even at college, it was, I think on my HND, there was no men actually.
Yeah.
There
But
was
do you
a
think
couple
maybe
on the level
Times
3,
have
but-
changed a bit, and maybe I don't know, like artist isn't. I would think now of a woman if you were like
Yeah, I would.
pick an artist.
Yeah.
But is that because we're so feminist? Do you know what I mean?
But if you were to go to anybody, if you and me were to say name an artist, we
Yeah.
would probably name a female artist, that we like.
But if we conditioned
But if
ourselves
someone
to do
said
that,
to you, but if someone said to you, name a classic
Yeah.
artist, you would Monet, Van Gogh,
Yeah.
Picasso, you wouldn't say that. And obviously through doing fine art and studying a bit of art
Yeah.
history as well, there's no women.
Yeah.
I don't remember I did a whole module on different art movements. I think I had to pick like 3 to specialise in.
Right.
I don't think there was one woman.
Really?
Not one, no. It does make you think though. I mean, for example, is somebody less likely to get funding because they're a woman?
maybe.
Yeah.
But again, like there could be even more that we don't know about because the two you've just said were working under men's names.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm fuming. You've enraged me today.
So when doing this episode, I as I said before, don't watch TV, don't
Yeah.
watch films. 2 things I know about art and music.
Yeah.
That's it. And a little bit politics as well, but we're not going into that. And so I just want to briefly touch about female musicians as well and how some of them have been treated. We often hear the word to describe female musicians, the word diva is thrown around a lot. And the word diva in itself is Latin for goddess. So it's a positive word, however, it's often used with quite negative connotations.
Yeah.
So people like Aretha Franklin, Cher, Tina Turner,
Yeah.
described as divas,
Yeah.
when in actual fact they were just women who wanted more control from what was a largely male-dominated, producers, session musicians, writers, hugely dominated
Yeah.
by males. And that's no bad thing. This isn't to shit on men.
Yeah.
But the idea that these men then called these women divas, difficult to work with,
Yeah.
nightmare thrown around a lot
Yeah.
because they knew what they wanted to do with their own fucking songs. And Dusty Springfield being another one actually, because she had a reputation for being very difficult to work with. But in actual fact, she was one of the few musicians at that time that were producing her own records as well.
Yeah.
She just knew how it should sound. She had a good ear, and certain men around her couldn't cope with that.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially in that kind of era, men didn't like being told what to do by women.
No, absolutely not.
Like, it goes back so far, doesn't it? Like, women being called hysterical for, do you know what I mean? And like, doctor, going to the doctor and, no, you're just a like sectioner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it goes back so far, men just didn't like being told. Women weren't meant to have opinions, were they, in those days?
We're not going to go down this route.
No,
but
okay.
If I had, put it this way, I have been myself, and I don't think I'm the only one been called an anxious woman by a doctor.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Recently, actually.
Yeah. I had a palm
Yeah.
for
Maybe
every
times
woman.
haven't changed.
But we're not going into that today. We still love the NHS.
Yeah,
they
we
do
do.
wonderful things.
They do.
Anyway,
If you could just do them for women as well as men, that'd be
that'd
great.
be wonderful. Thank you. But one woman that I do, well, a couple of women actually that I want to highlight, and this is mainly due to their personalities. Lady called Cass Elliot. Now, she is, I think, depending on who you speak to, relatively well known. Have you heard of her before?
I haven't.
Have you not?
No.
So she is probably, out of every single voice from every single singer, I think she is my favourite voice. It's the kind of voice that gives you goosebumps. Beautiful. But I remember, would have been about 16, I think. I remember coming home one day and switching on the telly, and it was, cause this is what I'm like, a Sounds of the 60s repeat that I'd put on. And it was a band called the Mamas and the Papas, and I'd never seen them before in my life. I'd heard of them, but I'd never seen them. And for those that don't know, 2 men, 2 women. The 2 men, pretty much just average 60s style, lanky man. And then one woman, Michelle Phillips, very tall, very thin, very blonde. And then Cass Elliot, who straight away, turning on the telly, short lady, must have been about 5 foot, very large.
Okay.
And not it took my eye straight away because from watching a lot of repeats of things like Top of the Pops, watching clips of Ready Steady Go, it was not the typical woman that you saw on telly at that time at all. And it caught my eye straight away. You know, a woman can be whatever size she fucking wants to be. But the way she moved, the way she held herself, if you look on YouTube at clips of Mamas and Papas, the shoulders back, head high,
Love
and just
that.
does her own thing completely. And there's such a confidence.
Oh, I love that.
I absolutely love her, and I went out and bought all their records because they've got such a fantastic sound as well. They're just a brilliant group. They're so underrated. They didn't last long at all. They lasted about 2 years. But I also went out and bought her solo records as well, and she's brilliant. But one thing that I really want to say about her, if you ever watch her in an interview, she's so sharp.
Oh, really?
She's so quick-witted. She's got an IQ of 160. Very, very smart, and just opinionated, but in the best way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just, I think she once said that she wanted to run for Senate and things like that.
Oh my
That she had
God.
such strong opinions, but like, if you just watch her in an interview, you're just sort of in awe of her because she's just so confident. And even if that's not real, you'd never know.
Yeah. She's
But-
faking it well if she's faking it.
Like I say, fantastic voice, amazing person. She died at 32.
Oh my God.
So she died very young. She had a gig at the London Palladium, I think it was, and just had a massive heart attack in her sleep. But a myth perpetuated after her death that she choked on a ham sandwich, and that was what caused her death.
Oh my God.
And basically, even today, she's known essentially as that big fat singer from the 60s who choked to death on
Yeah.
a ham sandwich. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I hate that.
Because that is a total myth. It's thought that the heart attack was actually triggered by crash dieting at the time. She'd actually lost a lot of
really?
weight before her death. Not that it matters at all, as
No.
I say, but such an amazing voice, such an amazing woman.
But that's what she's known for.
But that is what
Yeah,
she's
I hate
known
that.
for, and
Hate
it
that.
pisses me off. So
Yeah.
if you Google Cass Elliot, please watch her performance, like watch her interviews. Like
Yeah.
she's just fantastic. Another woman as well that I would like to briefly mention for the same reason. Now this is the slight opposite. Her voice, her music isn't particularly to my taste, but again, all my days watch an interview with her. She is fantastic. She had such an awful upbringing, and her whole persona, whilst being incredibly open about talking about that, her whole persona again, it's just this confidence. It's this, and that's Eartha Kitt. And if you watch interviews on YouTube with Terry Wogan, there's one that's quite famous, I think, and she's just a complete, she annihilates him, and it's brilliant. But I think, remember watching one interview where the first question he opened with was, "Are you a tease?" And I thought, she's just just fucking performed.
Yeah.
And that's the first question you ask. She's had such a turbulent life.
Yeah.
And that's the first question you go with. Are you a tease?
I hate that.
But it ended up being a really in-depth interview about her life and career, and very, very open and emotional.
wow.
But just the way she, again, it's the same sort of thing, so quick, so sharp,
Yeah.
so self-assured. And she said, I think they asked her in one, I think there was a film about her life or something like that, and they asked her about marriage, and this male interviewer said, well, compromise, and she went, compromise for what? And I get that completely. It's this idea that women need to sort of change their lives
Yeah.
to suit a man,
Yeah.
and it's complete bollocks.
Yeah,
Because
no, it
nobody
is.
would dream of saying that to a man who's
No.
about to get married. Nobody.
No, they wouldn't. But it's that like age-old stereotype, isn't it? That like the woman should be the homemaker, and if someone stays at home with the kids, it should be the woman. And I just don't think it needs to be like that at all anymore.
Well, I don't mind saying that even when I was a kid, and this isn't something my family have forced on me in any way, but I think it's just that sort of what you're influenced by,
Yeah.
by society. I thought you go to school, you go to uni, you get a job, you get married, and you have children.
Yeah.
Why?
Why do you
Why
have
do
to
we
do
think
that?
that?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
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 No. No, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's just so ingrained in you, isn't it, all your life, that that's what you're meant to
it's
do.
like no one forces it on you. It's
No.
just what you think.
Yeah, but you kind of need to, unless that is what you want to do. But if you don't, you need to break out of that cycle, because for ages I thought like, oh, I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's
There
necessarily.
is no right. It's
No, there
your
isn't,
way.
there isn't.
It's
But
your
again, I
life.
d-
No one's going to live
Yeah.
it other than you.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's necessarily a gender thing, or if maybe men feel like that as well.
Yeah, I suppose we
don't
would never know that either. And like I say, this isn't to shit on men.
No, it's not. We're not against men. We're
We've just got
also
different
for women.
experiences, yeah, and I don't think we are equal. Yeah,
No, we're not, unfortunately.
I can honestly say in every job that I've had, except for this one, I've seen at least nuances
Yeah, same.
of sexism.
Yeah.
Even if it's not been directed at me, even things that men do subconsciously sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not their fault
No,
necessarily.
yeah.
Necessarily. I'm
But
not
it's
saying
again
that
like
for-
we're conditioned all our lives into these gender roles,
Yeah,
aren't we?
we are.
And I think like I've worked in pubs and bars and things, which I'm sure, as you can imagine, like men will like touch your bum as you're walking past them.
Yeah.
And I had once when I was the manager in that restaurant, this guy was complaining about something. He was like, "Can I speak to your manager?" And I was like, "I am the manager." And he was like, "No, get me a man," essentially is what he was saying. And I was like, "No, I'm the manager on shift." And he was like, "Well, I can see a man in there." We had like an open kitchen and you could see a chef. And I was like, "Would you like to speak to the chef?" And he was like, "Yeah, I would like to speak to the man in charge." And I was like, "Well, that man's not in charge. I'm in charge." But he was just having none of it. It's fucking gross, isn't it?
Yeah.
So usually that means that it's time for Q&A. But today, instead of answering questions from our Instagram followers, we're doing things a little bit differently.
So we did a post on Instagram, and by the time this goes out, it'll be a while ago. But we did ask people to name their favourite female-owned businesses,
Yeah.
and why, if they can, give a reason why they like them, why they support them, why they inspire them.
And it was really cute, wasn't
It
it?
was really nice. The response was really
Yeah.
good as well, wasn't it?
I teared up reading some of them.
I did. The response it got straight away, I was like, oh, this is so nice.
Yeah. It was really cute, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
lovely.
it was. Yeah. And we're going to read out some of our favourites, aren't
Yes,
we?
we are. So, made by Mill XO, tagged Mystic Arts _ and crafts by Alex Eve and Moonrock Design. And she said, they're absolutely killing it and the most amazing people who have supported me since the start.
Aw.
And I love that. I think, I love nothing more than like girls supporting girls.
Yeah.
I love that. Such a vibe. I'm a strong advocate for there being room for everyone as well. Like, I don't think you need to be in competition. Like, I assume all 4 of them are business owners, but I like that they're not competing with each other.
Yeah.
They're supporting each other. We love to see that, don't we? We love
Yeah.
it. Want to read the next one?
I will. Next up, at Sun Goddess Creations has tagged the Indian elephant and wrote, "This woman is non-stop working, pushed herself so hard, teaching herself web design, marketing and everything. This is the real definition of a hard-working woman."
I love that.
Imagine reading that about yourself.
I know.
Oh,
It's just dead cute,
it's
isn't
so
it?
nice, isn't
I
it?
love that she's pushing herself to
Yeah.
learn new things.
Yeah, they're not easy.
No, they're not. No, I love that for her.
Yeah.
Corpse Wax has tagged Charlotte Art and said, not only is their artwork very empowering for fat bodies, but they constantly shout out other artists and have such a kind attitude.
Oh,
I love seeing different bodies represented in artwork. And I love that she uses a platform to shout out other artists. I think that's really nice. And I think community is really fucking important in this industry.
it's the thing that surprised me most, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's something that you don't think about too much before, and like nobody goes into this thinking, oh my God, think of the friends I'm going to make.
No,
You don't come
no.
into it to make friends. You just don't. That sounds harsh, but you
Yeah.
don't. It's just this nice little bonus.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and community again. Instagram friends might be people you've never even fucking met, and you know the fact that somebody's seen your page and gone, oh, they're really good. I want to support them.
Yeah, cheering you on.
Yeah.
It's just dead nice, isn't it?
And it's come so naturally as
Yeah.
well, and it's so nice.
Yeah. So Glorified Cabaret has tagged Corpse Wax
Oh.
for a similar reason. So she's said, Corpse Wax was the first artist I ever saw using fat bodies that I could relate to, which I just think's lovely, isn't it? Like, I think it's dead cute that Corpse Wax has been tagged for something that she was inspired by someone else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Nice little circle.
Yeah, it's cute.
So next up, Designs by Holly has mentioned Trippy Thumper and Rusty Carrot. I love those business
They're
names.
cute, aren't
I
they?
love it. Saying both super cool girls who have inspired me into the world of markets.
Aww.
That's nice as well because that can be, well, we've said, haven't we?
It's
It can be
daunting,
so
isn't it?
daunting, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think having a sort of friend there
Yeah.
to support you
Yeah.
and sort of tell you the truth as well.
Someone else that's already done it.
Yeah,
It's nice,
someone else
isn't it?
that's another point of view.
Yeah. And I hope her markets go really fucking well.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I hope she loves
We
it.
hope that for everybody.
Yeah, we do. We
Everybody
do.
who's commented, we hope your markets go really fucking well.
Yeah,
all
if you
the time.
succeed in everything you want to
Yeah.
do. So next, Sassy Makes has mentioned Lazy Girl Club. She said, not only an incredible clothing and accessories maker, but a truly awesome person, and I'm continuously inspired by you. What a fucking nice thing to say about someone.
It is nice.
It's
And
lovely, isn't it?
so she should as well, because she fucking lives in Lazy
Yeah,
Girl
she
Club.
does. I've never
She'd
seen
have
her.
nothing to wear.
No, I've
if
never-
Lazy Girl Club didn't exist.
Never seen her not in a Lazy Girl Club dress.
Oh, and the first one where we're going to say, I'm really fucking sorry if we've said your name wrong. Cornucopia Creative, I think I've said that right,
I think you have.
has said, I'm really fucking trying this year to make my little business my sole income as I mother my children. I want to be here when they're home from school, not off working to line somebody else's pockets. And my girl, Heather Ann Home Fragrance, is really fucking trying to build her empire while she works full time and is killing it. She inspires me every bloody day.
Aww,
Aw,
that's so
so
cute.
heartfelt,
I
isn't
can't
it?
even imagine doing this with children in
No,
tow.
I know, I really can't.
Like, that in itself.
I can't mother myself.
No.
I'm supposed to mother somebody else.
I've got a dog and that's hard enough.
Yeah, like shout out to
Yeah.
to all the mums. I
Yeah.
mean,
well done you. I
yeah,
can't even
literally
imagine.
Can't imagine now.
No, it must be incredibly difficult.
I know.
But also what you've said about your friend is lovely as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Kitty's Treasures Liverpool has tagged a few people. So she wrote, I love my badass girls. Got You Covered Official. Crypt Keepers Carnival. Filthy Stitch by Katie. Sassy Makes. Needle and Dead UK. And then she's written, and of course yourselves, which is us. Which I think that means us.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. So thank you. She's written, you've all shown me so much love, and for fragile little me, it's changed my life for the better. Thank you. Sus for the emotion, but you're all awesome.
Oh, that's so
That's
nice.
really cute, isn't it? I think so. Kitty's Treasures, in the short time that we've known her, she's really come out of her shell, I think.
Yeah, well, she's surrounded by us lot that are gobshites.
And she's holding her own,
constantly, and
isn't
she's
she?
holding her own, yeah. But no, it's really nice to see. Oh, why am I getting all the difficult to say ones? So I don't know if that's our China Clay or a China Clay. Well, it's the same letter. A China? Our China? Who knows? As mentioned, just plain charming, and said, obviously for creating beautiful work in both jewellery making and ceramics. Excelling at one is hard, but to be awesome at two, wow. And also for being a fountain of knowledge, positivity, and just being a general great person to be around. She is always gracious with her time, even when she doesn't need to be. She sounds fab.
She does. Do you think she'd be our friend?
I hope so. Just plain charming. Do you need two new besties?
No, I think, like, obviously she sounds very busy doing...
I know. That is not
No.
easy.
And then to also have the time to help other small business owners and give them
Yeah.
advice and stuff.
Must be a busy lady.
Yeah, she sounds sound. doesn't she?
Yeah, we want her to be our friend.
Yes, please, if you're listening.
Hi, come for a drink with us. Next one.
So the next one is that Yasmin D has mentioned Hook and Yarn by Jeannie.
Jeannie?
Yeah. I'm not sure. But she's written, makes amazing and unique crochet pieces. She inspires me so much as she has, 5-month-old twins.
Oh.
And she still manages to find the time to do what she loves best. Also, her craft room is the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
Aww.
So firstly, if you're listening, Jeannie, please can you send us some photos of your craft room?
I know. know. I love a craft dream.
We do love a craft room. 5-month-old twins.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ. I can't imagine.
Having time to do anything?
No. Oh my
Not
God.
time to wipe your arse,
No.
would you?
Well done, you.
I know. And also, can I just say, and this isn't me being bitter, I haven't got 5-month-old twins, but is that Yasmin D? Thanks for the fucking mention. It's not like I've known you 20 fucking years, is it?
Is she a friend?
Cheers. Not anymore.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I'm joking. I'm not that fragile. I am.
I can tell by your face you're not joking. We'll do the next one.
Yeah. So, Cup Half Full podcast. Oh, we've got a podcast friend.
Ooh.
Has tagged, I'm going to say, Inspireed.
I think so.
Amplifying the voices of indie authors with a mission of a book on every shelf.
Love that.
Yeah, it's important as well.
Yeah. I love that she's shouting out independent creatives.
Yeah.
And I love that we've got a podcast.
Yeah. Got so many new friends.
Podcast
so many
friends.
new people to invite out for a drink.
Yes, can't wait.
And Just Plain Charming has tagged Prior Shop Bristol, saying Beck at Prior is possibly the most inspirational person I know, and most would agree. What she has done and continues to do for the creatives of Bristol and the local economy is incredible, and despite pressures and problems, always comes out fighting every time.
Aw.
It must be so fucking difficult in this day and age
Yeah.
to keep an actual physical bricks
Oh
and
my
mortar
God, yeah,
shop going.
imagine.
I mean, you know, the high street's on its arse at the moment, but it's still really nice to see
Yeah.
independent shops popping up.
Yeah.
Still.
Like, I work from home and I can't afford my overheads.
Exactly. Yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah,
Hope they
so yeah,
continue.
well
I hope we
done
see the
you.
rise of them.
Yeah, I hope you keep coming out fighting.
Yeah.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next is Moody Cow Crafts by Elise. Elise?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. But they've tagged Label of Love and said, I admire her do not give a fuck attitude to create things that she likes. She's a great advocate for support small in our local area, always promoting other businesses at markets and on social media. We love a do not give a fuck attitude, don't we?
I think we live for it.
We
I
do,
think the whole
we
point of this podcast is a do not give the fuck attitude.
We do, we love that. And amazing that she's shouting about other small businesses and advocating for them. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
such
I
a vibe.
think I've said before, a win for any small business is a win for small
For all of
businesses
us, yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
You have to support each other. It's not competition at all. And if you go in with that attitude, you're not going to make friends.
No, and you won't succeed.
No, you won't. No.
Like, some of my biggest supporters and like regular customers are other small business owners. And if I'd gone into it with the attitude of like, you're my competition,
Yeah.
I'd be out of business
Yeah.
in a week's time.
Yeah. Emma R Studio has tagged Bev Acton Illustration, and she said, beautiful art, especially for cat lovers. And she went through some big shit this year, and she's still making art despite it all.
Oh, whatever the big shit is, I hope that you're all right.
Hope you come out the other end.
Yeah, and keep making art.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, I don't know what the big shit was, but I feel like art is quite therapeutic, isn't it? And
It can be, yeah. It's like a switch off button,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. So yeah, I hope
Depending
that's-
on the circumstance.
Yeah, but yeah, I hope that's
But-
helping, and I hope that you're getting through it. So Moody Cow Crafts by Elise again.
Or Alice. We're
Or
really
Alice,
sorry.
yeah,
we
sorry,
don't-
not sure. Has mentioned Serene Beauty by Abby. She's recently thrown herself into an already successful venture. After a hard year, she's finally doing something she enjoys and has no one to answer to. She's been underappreciated in past jobs, and I know having her own female small business will provide her with the self-confidence, gratification, and pridefulness that she deserves. I love this so much.
Yeah.
I love that her hard work's paying off, and we both know what it's like to be underappreciated in past
It's
jobs,
nice to
don't we?
see the word pride as well, because for me, it's all about that.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And I just think this business, we've said it before, but this line of work gives you a pride that you have never felt before in any other
Yeah,
job.
nothing. Nothing's going to give you that.
No, and I love that. I love that she's broken out of doing something she was unhappy in, and
Yeah, but you got to. You
It's
only
now.
get one life,
Exactly.
don't you? And I think people who've done that should absolutely shout about
yeah,
it.
celebrate it.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Jenny Sargent Designs has tagged Kate Maxwell Studio and said, she inspires me and is super kind and such a great cheerleader too.
Oh,
Nice to just see
love that.
cheerleading. I
yeah,
like it.
I love
I
that.
like it.
I love it. Girls supporting girls is my favourite thing. I am Beja Flo. They've tagged Secret Circus UK, saying, I'm part of the team, but you'll know Secret Circus is worth screaming about. So I've got a lot to say about this one. So I've actually worked really closely with Secret Circus and Beja Flo.
Is that their actual name, Beja Flo?
No, that's a stage name.
It's lovely though.
It's cute, isn't it?
Such a nice name.
So I know that's not who we're shouting out because she's the one that's tagged, but
Doesn't matter. Shout out
she's
everybody.
fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, she's just so inspiring. She really, like, she gives me life. But so do the whole Secret Circus team.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know what it is, basically they're like a cabaret show, and it's run by these this incredible group of women, and they're fucking amazing. Like they let me have stalls at their events a lot of times, which is really nice, and I've done a merch club with them. And they're just like, their shows are just so diverse, and like it's just such a nice vibe, and it's really welcoming. And like usually, like the first one I ever did with them, usually I would feel really nervous going into a new venue and a new group of people and things like that, and they just instantly, I was at ease. Like they're just such a gorgeous group of women. They are worth shouting about. Yeah.
So a slightly different one that we got, but we both fucking loved. Twin Maid tagged herself,
and we love that.
It was literally like lots of hearts and then just me.
And I love that. I love self-love.
Yeah, we really liked it.
Shout about yourself.
It made us laugh, but also, why the fuck not?
Yeah, exactly. Be your own cheerleader. I love that for you. And the last one we want to mention is Far From Kansas. They've tagged Breathe Bracelets, saying, "You're so wonderful, kind, and passionate about your business. I love that we've supported each other even though we've never met. You're a beautiful woman."
Aww.
I love that. I love an online bestie.
I know.
I really do. Like, I hope that they both continue to support each other. And I hope that they get to meet.
Yeah,
I hope they get to meet. Oh, and if you do, please let us know. Invite us.
I think we just want friends.
Yeah,
at
we
this
do.
point, don't we?
That's why we started a podcast. Apply to be a guest. Be our best friend. People come to the studio and we never let them leave.
Duct tape in the corner.
No, but I really, really love that. I love an online bestie.
Yeah.
It's really cute, isn't it? So obviously we couldn't read them all out. There was so many.
Too many,
Loads
which is
of them.
good.
But that was a few of our faves. And please go and have a look through that post. Like, have a look at the comments and follow some of the women because they're fabulous. Like, we had a really good look through, didn't we? And they're all incredible. Yes, please go and check that out. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed our International Women's Day special. And please go and Google some of the ladies that we talked about. Check out that post.
All of them.
Yeah, please, because I want you to be as inspired as we were.
Yeah.
Well, we are. Yeah. So what's on the agenda for the next episode, Ellie?
Obviously, it's only been a week since our last episode because we are lovely and we decided to treat you all, but we are going back to fortnightly.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about education versus life experience, what we've gained from school, college and uni, and lessons that we've learned in business so far. And we will also be joined by Kate from Kate's Bakes.
Woo!
So we'll be getting her input on education too, and it should be interesting, shouldn't it?
It should be.
So please tune in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Really Fucking Trying. And you can also message us on there with any topics that you'd like us to cover, any questions. And if you fancy joining us for a chat, there is a guest application form in our bio.
Yes.
Don't be shy.
Join us.
Don't be shy. We don't bite unless you ask us to nicely. And I think that's it for today.
Yeah, so we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.